Jeez.
That's my best Thanksgiving turkey, boys. I'm sorry.
That was good.
You're a turkey.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where is this?
All right. Shh, quiet, please. Alan, if you quiet, please. With the fearless foursome, once again, Christian doing Christian. He's. We'll get to that in a second. I got Andy Hydorn. I got Brendan Elliott, and I got Boston / Bourbon Bob Baldessari. And Brendan is desperately looking to turn himself into a turkey right now.
How does he do that? How does he do that?
I don't know, but that is not a turkey.
Oh yeah, just change the cow's sweater. That helps.
He's gonna have every animal up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
We're recording Tuesday night. You're gonna hear this on Wednesday. It's Thanksgiving week. It means we're into the end of fall season PGA Tour. Brendan is still changing emoji images on our Zoom as we're recording. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody! In advance.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I have gone out hunting for turkey once previously in my past life, and that was my turkey gobble.
Do you use that if you
Can
hit
you
your
do it
drive?
again for us one more time?
Yeah, if you hit your drive in the woods, you use it.
Go ahead.
What?
Do it again.
Good.
That's perfect.
Thanks. All right. We've got breaking news from last week to follow up on, i.e., Tiger cannot afford a backup generator.
Times are tough.
I said it, by the way, right after the Ryder Cup, forever to be known only as Ludwig. One name.
That's because no one else knows how to say his last name.
Yeah, it's Aber. No, it's Aber.
No, it's Aubert.
Oh, shit.
Point taken.
I'm wearing flannel. I'm ready to go turkey hunting. We're good. All right, boys. So, Tiger. Why can Tiger Woods, Bob, you live down in that area, why can he not afford to have a generator? If anybody knows, basically, Tiger's indoor golf power outage, the entire thing collapsed, and the entire season is getting postponed to 2025.
Yeah, if you live in South Florida, you use a generator. It's Hurricane Alley. I mean, and I guess the people putting that together, they didn't have the foresight, but you would think the type of people putting that together, the type of facility, the type of money, I like literally was dumbstruck. They didn't have a backup generator. And by the way, I also read in I guess I was gonna say the newspaper, but I guess that kind of dates me, but it was online. But it was, I think, in the Palm Beach Post that not only did the roof fall down, but I believe there'll be a lawsuit of some sort because they cut down a bunch of majestic old oak trees and some real good specimens. So maybe the karma is not doing too good there.
Andy?
I mean, I find it all kind of trivial at this point. Because when the TGL does actually launch, I think it'll be great if it launches under no undue stress, right? And they're in a good situation with a good building and a good facility, and they can deliver a good product. So does it matter to me? Not one bit that they're postponing a year. It doesn't matter.
And Mr. Elliott, as our chief media writer extraordinaire and most connected with all things media, ESPN endorses and supports this decision.
I do too. I mean, I feel like Andy does. I was a little bummed at the beginning because I was looking forward to seeing how this thing was going to play out. But if we got to wait another year for it, for them to, make sure that things like the roof don't fall in on when they're playing, that's a good thing, I think.
The roof.
Hey,
Son,
before we forget, can we at least acknowledge one thing right here and right now? That Bourbon Bob is that guy,
He
meaning
is.
the guy who puts his Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving.
I did not do that. That was my
Oh,
wife.
wow.
yeah,
That was
you
my
endorsed, but you endorsed it.
I had to move the box and I had to move the ladder, but she got bored. So,
I'm not gonna lie though, Heather was playing Christmas music in the house today. No trees are up, but we definitely had Christmas music.
but we didn't put the official real, the tree we're gonna use for presents. So this is a decoration thing.
How many trees do you put up?
Yeah, exactly.
Usually 3.
All
All
those
right.
little kids running around the house.
Can I
Yeah.
can I stay on point here?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Tiger collapses that in there, but he rises. See what I did here? Because he has announced he is in the hero. His,
Yeah.
his spot he always leaves open for himself if he's deciding to play. He decided to play. Mr. Elliott.
I think it's interesting because I had read somewhere that he had said where he got real open, which he never does about his health. This was what, a week ago or 2 weeks ago. He said the heel's fine. It's just everything that he was doing to protect it when it wasn't good is bothering him now. So um we'll see. We'll see what happens. I always get my hopes up, but I don't think I'm gonna let myself do that this time.
That's how the body works. When you're limping one way, you're protecting a piece of, we've all been there where the one area of the shoulder, this knee starts to feel better and then bang. And personally, I was pretty excited when he was going to play. Hopefully he can play reasonably well, just get the excitement back. I mean, that would be nice to get him back in the mix.
Bobby, I cannot appreciate that because I mean, I am a physical specimen that turns 69 degrees on my shoulder turn. And I cannot understand how the body compensates for its failures in other ways. What
Hey,
about, what about
6.9.
you, Andy?
That's
I've had 5 surgeries, ankle, 2 right knee, both shoulders. I can attest a bad back. Yeah, your body just adapts differently when you're protecting this area, and then you get into bad habits in golf. I get into some awful habits, played awful, protecting a shoulder, knee, you name it. But I could see that happening with him. But hey, maybe let's get some good medical. I think that test was walking with his son for those Florida State golf, and if he could walk, he's probably feeling pretty good.
Andy?
Yeah, I unfortunately have to say that I'm so over this Tiger comeback thing. Like, I don't give 2 shits whether he plays or not anymore. I mean,
Oh,
I just think he's done. And I'll root for him if he gets good. And or is that the opposite of the lean in, Alan? But I don't really. I mean, like, how many times are we going to see this thing play out? It's like the same thing.
You've become Christian or little Christian, Mr. like cynical about TW.
I love Tiger. I love Tiger. By the way, I got some awesome skinny on the whole Tiger Erica thing, by the way. I probably can't share here.
Oh,
exclusive,
Like
exclusive.
like serious, like from
Goop Hydorn.
Erica's best buddies.
Hmm.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. But anyway, I digress.
we should start doing shots while we record the show and see how this turns out.
Yeah. Hey, loosen up there, guy.
Hey, Alan, can we digress one more bit, a little bit back to that TGL? But
I don't know, Bobby. I've got such very stringent notes that we're working off of this week.
I know we're off
started
script
the
already.
freaking show with a turkey golf.
Stick to the outline. Stick to the outline.
This will be the highest rated show, though.
I want to cut the corner on something, but I got to thinking probably, I don't know, recently anyways, but this, there's the LIV, there's the TGL, there's all these things that, we talk about trying to attract new eyeballs to the game. And, at one point I'm starting to think, is it going to go overboard and get to be stupid and ridiculous and goofy. And I know when the Skins game started, remember way back when the original Skins game? And that was, I want that to come back, and I want
Yeah.
the players to use their own money. That'll interest me. I think eyeballs get on there. If they got to put up 100,000 each, 200,000, let's get 4 professional golfers. Actually, I don't care who it is. Let's get 4 golfers that want to put up $250,000, play for Skins. I'll be interested in that. I'm not real interested in this TGL thing. I can't even say it right half the time. I'm really not. It's getting to be almost over the top goofy. And then everybody wants more people to watch golf. It's not going to translate into more golfers. It's been proven. Brendan and I are on the front line.
I don't think it's going to translate into more golfers either, but it's going to be golfing entertainment.
Yeah, I'm getting weird on that. I'm now starting to push back on it. Like it's just getting weird. I don't know.
Bobby, National Golf Foundation. By the way, I'm speaking next week at the Michigan Golf Course Owners. So if anybody's up in Michigan and listening to us, I'll see you. Michigan Golf Course Owners, I'm preparing for something, and National Golf Foundation, I pulled a stat that I'm going to use for the presentation. There is more off-course golf participation than there is on-course.
Yep.
And that's because of the entertainment factor, i.e.
Yep.
chip or Pop Stroke and Drive Shack
Top
and
golf, yeah, the whole thing.
and what have you. This is just an extension of that. Don't you agree?
Well, this goes back to what Bobby says all the time. It's like
Bobby's drinking bourbon, by the way.
that retention piece, it's like we always do something to get something, and then we miss one part of it, like the most important part. Retention's huge. You can get all these people to try golf, real golf we're talking, but then we can't retain them. And the same thing's true with all this off-course stuff. We can get them interested in that and saying golf and thinking about golf, but then we can't get them onto the real golf course. So it's a problem.
Yeah, but maybe it's not though, right? Because Alan and I were at this conference in the springtime down at Kiowa, and they talked about the supply and demand issue of golf courses and golfers, and it's at the perfect sweet spot right now, right? So if we're adding all these golfers at the entertainment venues, then that's a good thing all around, I think. And as technology kind of progresses and it becomes cooler and cooler and more real, like that's what I'm most interested with the TGL, is just how cool the technology is. The putting platform's supposed to be incredible, and the screen's humongous and it's 30 yards away. And so I think all of that stuff to me.
Play it as it lies, Gilmore.
Yeah. All that stuff to me is what's interesting about the TGL. And then maybe with technology continuing to evolve and develop, maybe we don't need more people on the golf course. Maybe we need more people at these other alternative venues.
By the way, Brendan, that was my failed attempt at the fact that they got to put over scaffolding now at the TGL. I don't know if anybody connected the dots.
I got it. That scene was playing in my head.
I would put the number coming out of COVID in the reality getting into 2024 that probably 10% of golf courses are anywhere close to their golf course being filled or saturated. And fortunately, on our podcast here, one of the best golf operators out there, Mr. AD, his place cranks, but there's very few like your place now. And seriously, this post-COVID thing, there's still a lot of courses that need some golfers.
Well, I don't know if you know this there, Normie, but we actually, let me give you, here's the sweet spot. The sweet spot is the number of rounds per 18-hole equivalent. And for the first time in 25 years, we're back at a number, which dates back obviously into the 90s. We're back to a number where the number of golf courses are sufficient that, the rounds are going to be able to sustain and have viable businesses. Having said that,
that's what they told us at the conference.
Yes, my good friend Jeff Dugas, shout out to Mr. Dugas,
right.
A praiser extraordinaire.
Yep.
The reality is you're still going to have closures. Like son number 2, Mr. Tyler, he's got his sheet he's working off of in his new position. And, you know, we were looking at the sheet, just talking, and he's like, well, what about this one? I said, yeah, it's closed. What about that one? Yeah, it's closed. The land value will continue to exceed the value ever on the golf course. And I don't see more golf courses replacing them. I think there's 15,000, I'm going to say 15,500. I think you're going to have another, mark my words, it doesn't bottom out until you get to about 13.5. And now that's going to be a slow, it's the pace of closures is slowing, but I don't think it bottoms out until we get down to about 13.5.
And that's your business. And I 100% respect where you're coming from with that, because you live that every day.
Because what's happening is everybody's that's an operator, they've gotten beat up for so long, they've continued to jack rates. They're going to eventually price out that new golfer that's coming into the game, that's just looking for the fun component of it. And then they're going to start, then what's going to happen is they're going to start looking at each other going, wait a minute, we're not getting enough business. So they're going to turn back around. It's going to become like the late 1990s and early 2000s, and everybody's going to discount their way to the bottom. Yep. And I basically just gave you my entire speech for next week in Michigan.
Well, I got 2 things I was thinking about since you were talking about that. Was some trends I'm seeing here in Central Florida. There's 2 things I'm seeing. There are a few of these defunct courses that are coming back. There's at least 3 or 4 that
really
communities have, the community itself
right
has petitioned to take it over and bring in a management group to revive it. And that makes sense because their property value is probably, well, it probably hasn't tanked, but it's sure not helping to have an overgrown course in your backyard.
Right.
But 2, there's a lot of courses doing what I think is a big thing to bridge this gap between the non-traditional off-course stuff and the golf course, is setting your driving range up is with the top tracer bays and doing the F&B combined with that, extending your hours, having lights on the range. That's getting people to your golf course, they may not go play the actual golf course, but they're coming to your facility, using the range, eating there. That's a good thing, I think.
So your PGA VP, Mr. Don Ray, a friend of us, friend of many, is he just redid his range at Augusta Ranch out in Arizona. Plan to spend $300,000 to redo and incorporate and do exactly what you're talking about. He ends up spending $600,000 with the seating and the top tracer and all that everything, but he's killing it.
Yeah.
Crushing it with more people coming to the game and trying it. Mark this one down. Andy, you got your pen? Mark this one down. The golf industry, I think eventually when it all bakes out, you're going to have four scenarios. High-end privates, the Marion golf courses, the Lake Nonas of the world, and what have you, that are so immune to everything that's going on because they don't need it, right? Their membership supports them. You're gonna have that group. You're gonna have the destination golf courses, the Pinehurst of the world, the Stream Songs, and what have you. You're gonna have the really high-end daily fees and some semi-privates in the top 20 MSAs, and then exactly what you're talking about, Brennan, some type of municipal operations.
Yep.
I think you're going to come back to the muni days.
Yeah.
People are going to scoop up the munis, and you know that's what it's going to. But here's the kicker on that one: they don't want to operate them. Matter of fact, they don't even want to own them. They just want to sit there and yell back and forth, Republican, Democrat, shut this thing down. Why did we buy this? I can't believe we bought this. And they're going to yell at board meetings for the next 15 years that why the hell did we buy this thing?
Alan, you're just a bitter politician.
Just went into your politician speech. I totally agree, because that middle of the road club that's the tough one, because it's just real tricky. If you're high end or low end, you can actually operate and make your profits and all that. That middle one is real tricky.
If you are in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, and I love Iowa, by the way, you got no chance. I'm sorry. You'll scrape by. You'll be one of those, but eventually somebody's it's gonna just dry up. It's got to. Or if you're in, up towards Binghamton, New York, it's not a big market to be able to support a bunch of golf courses. They're going to just close. Now,
Well,
the only thing that could change that, which has changed it, is COVID and remote work.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the remote work thing is still a way that many companies are still doing business since we're past all of this with COVID. And I think that's what's driving the numbers. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, and Bobby probably that see the numbers, but I think that's what's keeping us holding on is the change that we saw in lifestyle from COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I feel it's the case. And by the way, I didn't have any of this shit, Andy, on my notes for tonight. So who took us down this path, BB?
I did take us down this path, but it
Not
needs
on
to
the
be.
syllabus.
But and was it Brennan? I think you sort of touched on it as far as trying to get new people in the game. And I remember at multiple times, multiple meetings, past president of PGA America, Jim Remy said, at one point we just can't get everybody into the game. We keep trying to say grow the game. Let's get everybody into the game. But to what Brennan and I experienced on the front end, and I've been very, very, very wicked critical of this whole golf industry. Everybody falls down, makes a big deal, high five, spends a lot of money, a lot of staff hours, a lot of resources on the exposure. Let's get everybody out to a fun event. High five, photos, photo ops, press releases. They don't do crap for keeping people in the game and retention. You get all these kids excited to play the game, get them on the freaking golf course. You don't give them tee times. You don't get them transportation there. So stop doing exposure events. It's a waste of time because nothing happens on the back end. I've been saying this for 20 years.
I believe the NGF number, again, because I was looking at it today, and I may be off, but I'm pretty close, that in 22, 3.8 million people came to the game or tried the game, had interest in the game. Andy, would you like to take a guess how many were retained?
3.8 million left too.
Now 1.3 stayed in.
Okay.
It's always a churn. And if you're going to do,
that's pretty good.
Nobody plans these things out. They don't plan them out for the follow-up and retention.
No.
Yeah, but
to me though,
what they don't say is, are those green grass or are those top flight or top golfs?
Right. Top flight. Ooh.
Yeah. But to me, and I totally respect Bob's passion on this subject, because as long as I've known him, especially in our later years, he's been all over this, and I appreciate that. I personally think the game is missing that experiential middle ground between a top golf or even just a regular driving range and a golf course. And I think there are opportunities or ideas or concepts that could be put into place that kind of are a hybrid of the two and can get people, that next step towards being on the golf course. I think that would go a long way towards helping get people from, I want to try this, to paying a greens fee and being on the first tee.
BB has seen the business plan that I laid out. It incorporates exactly into that. And
I was going to mention that.
Not unlike your Tiger, you're not going to speak. I speak no words of.
But it's an experiential middle ground, right? It's
Absolutely.
there's an experience about going to a golf course and teeing it up on the first hole and playing. There's an experience about going to Topgolf or going to just a regular driving range. There's something that meshes the two in the middle.
I think there's something already there. Operation 36. That's a
great example.
So you could put
but it does take up a golf course.
True, but you could put tees. Like, I think that your teeing areas where people start is what bridges that gap, Andy, is like having tees at 25 yards and 50 yards and having an actual scorecard for those yardages. And it's not a kid's tee and it's not a ladies' tee. It's a beginner
it's a level
intermediate.
Tee, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
But I think the real progress would be made if there could be a templated facility to do that.
Okay. Like
I
the
mean,
golf
it's,
carts that Jack Nicklaus was talking about. Those
Anybody would
golf
like
carts.
anybody would like to invest, the template's been already crafted. We're just gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna leave it
Yeah.
there.
Just give
Alan
me
has a-
that, Eglin.
Alan has a great, he has it. He shared it with me confidentially. And Brendan said, when I was at PGA headquarters, I was tasked with, we're actually working with Jack and his
Yeah.
team to create golf parks. That was
Mhm.
the phrase. And we were supposed to do that. We were supposed to turn soccer fields and baseball fields into these golf parks for the golf experience, somewhat to what Andy said. But my phrase for years now has been, too long golf industry has said, Andy, you want to get into golf? You have to consume golf this way. Here's the traditions you have to consume versus saying, Andy, you want to get into the game? How do you want to consume it as a newer
Right.
golfer? And then we'll ladder you pathway in.
Yep.
Options.
I'll tell you what, and this, I would geek out because I'm just a numbers guy, but I would love to have Greg Nathan from NGF on this one night.
I'll
And
get
I would
him.
just, oh yeah,
He's the new guy in charge too, actually,
yeah,
right?
well, yeah, Joe's still in charge, but Greg stepped into the presidency to eventually transition and when Joe retires. But
I'll text him right now.
I would love
There we
to
go.
have him. I'd love to have him on sometime,
That'd
just
be
to
good.
talk about intention or retention, all of these topics. And I'm going to be critical of. I think they do some good work. I'm going to be critical, and this would be the question I would ask. Why was it necessary to start measuring 3 different silos of golf participation? To try to make everybody feel good about retention? I mean, or try to feel good about coming to the game? I mean, why is the top, they couldn't ignore the top golf. So they had to make a silo. Then they made another one in the middle that was going to be, well, these people play top golf but they also play green grass. And then these are the purists that only play green grass over on this other side.
Just the decision to count Top Golf has made the numbers look a lot better in
Correct.
this industry for the last few years.
I'm going to continue to name drop, but like, this is one thing. Andrew Wood's one of the best marketers in the game, and just ask him. No, actually, I like Andrew, but he and I shared a common theme a few years back. Where like, you want to change the message, or you want to change the outcome? Change the message. And he was very instrumental. I mean, he has a great platform. He was, golfers live longer. Golfers, spend quality time with your family. Yeah. Why do we focus only on the fact that it's going to be, you're going to be out there for 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever the case may be? Is that a terrible thing with your kid?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Greg Nathan just said he's in.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, can we flex a little quiet please muscle here? Because I think one of the coolest things about this group is that Bob right away texted the guy that you just said you would love to have on the podcast, right? We've had some amazing guests this year. Like,
yeah.
If you really think about it,
I think I am thankful for some of our amazing guests that we've had this year.
Yeah, I'm very much thankful. Nice little gobble segue.
Where is it?
No, but seriously, I think it's pretty damn amazing. And again, I'm hurting my arm patting ourselves on the back here, but some of the guests we've had this year have been pretty awesome. And you have to have your tentacles out there to be able to get these people to agree to come on and be a guest on the show. So it's a pretty great thing to be.
Okay, because I'm monitoring our time, and I'm going to tell you right now, because I know this next one's going to spin off the rails and take 1,000 more minutes than we have prepared for tonight. So as thankful as we are for all those great guests, BE, and as thankful that they came on here, sat down, and our listeners got to hear, like Aim Point just recently, we killed it. That show was awesome. Great job, guys, while I was out failing in political campaign space. It's still raw. It's still raw, boys. As thankful as I am for those people that are improving people's games, we need the not top 50 golf instructors. I think we need, because Andy, you've probably run into a few golf instructors in your time. BE, you're a phenomenal golf instructor, as we mention all the time. What are some of the just silliness? What are some of the things that let's literally, because I'm guaranteed there's people out there right now, they're literally thinking, arm straight, head down. That's
I
what
mean,
they did.
I can go first or last, so.
I mean, no,
I
this
want to
is
tread. I want to tread lightly on this because I don't want to hurt any egos.
there is no names associated. I'll start out real quick. I had a student back when I instructed many moons ago. Bobby and I were still head pros up in the Mid Atlantic. I had a student come to me and said, I'm working on leg drive, and literally turned their legs completely towards the target after as they hit the ball. Knees completely went towards the target. And I wish I could stand up to show you it, but I'm not going to. And I just said, what the hell was that? I read it in Golf Digest.
Which is probably a drill, but they thought it was a move.
So, Bobby, if you want to throw something in there, go ahead, because I have definitely something to say here.
I was actually gonna say Andy should have the beginning, middle, and end to this.
Well, and I respect the ever living daylights out of you guys, because A, you're my friends, and B, I know you think out of the box and do things as instructors that is not normal for most people who teach golf to do. So but I'm going to say that if me or anybody else is spending money and time with somebody to get instruction, to get on a path to improve, and to you know, hope to have the opportunity to work on your game so that you can make some progress. The last thing as a student that I want is I don't want to go to somebody, spend an hour of my time and $150 of my money, have him, move my body, put me in the correct positions, take photos, and show me what it looks like. And I think that's all great. And I absolutely think that that's part of it. But that's just the beginning. Like when I leave that lesson, and I think this is an epidemic in the industry, to be honest with you. When I leave that lesson, I need notes, I need a plan, I need drills, I need goals, I need all those things, because we're working toward and progressing toward, a better situation. And so many people stop at the, here you go, here's what you should look like, and this is what your backswing should look like, this is what your impact should look like. Don't stop there. That is literally just the first step of 10 that will make you into an appropriately good instructor. And I'm sick and tired of for myself being a part of that situation, but just watching other people deal with that as well. I just think it's really malpractice.
It's funny you should say the malpractice phrase, because it is, if you look at the golf industry and golf instruction, even on the PGA side, there's no uniform set. I don't want to say methodology, because everybody's different and it should be that way, but the I guess maybe the law profession, maybe the medical industry, there are some procedures, processes that you go by, but in golf, I've always said there's no set industry standard for law or lie or whatever. Everybody's all over the place anyways. And it can be like that for instruction as well. It's unfortunate. I've always given everybody that's come to me a plan. Here's where we're going to go. Here's some take home notes. I keep it to 3 items, maybe 1 item at address, maybe 1, possibly 2, depending on the player, for a swing thought. But here's what we're going to do next. Here's your drills. It's a shame and you're such a great player. I mean, for you not to have somebody give you a plan of attack, that doesn't sound right at all. Uh-oh. Harvey.
Yeah, but that's all anecdotal stuff, right? Like I'm talking about process. Like I'm literally talking about taking somebody and I don't for once think that every teacher should have the same theories about the golf swing or same concepts. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that having somebody come and see you and start to go through the process of getting better is just that. It's a process.
Right.
And you can't just give anecdotal bullshit. You can't just give people swing tips or show people what they should be doing. It's not
So
I
enough.
mean,
Andy,
should not, should, go ahead, B. You're the
so
expert on this one. Go ahead.
well, I've just got to say this is kind of why I've scaled back my own personal coaching, because to do what I want to do with these kids I work with, I'm only 12 is my max of number of students I have, and I'm in the 9 to 10 neighborhood right now. But if I had 150 students, there's no possible way I could walk every single one of them through a process the way it's supposed to be. My theory, oh, and I'm learning every day.
I'm
I'm
with
not
you.
a golf digest or whatever. That stuff doesn't really move me. It's important, but my point is, like, there's two. You talked about silos, AD, and
Mhm.
how we see golfers. I see the game that way too. And the process for me is, first I need somebody to become a student of the game, which means I have to inform them everything I possibly can on how the swing is supposed to work in theory. Once they can kind of digest that, now we're going to look at your swing and how can we incorporate what we just talked about and made you learn about how the swing's supposed to work, and how can we pick apart your swing from A to Z. And then that's just the swing. Now we got to incorporate it into how you play the game. So this is, I got students I've been with for many years, and we're just finally getting them to the point. I have a kid, Sebastian, who shot a 68 in a tournament a couple months ago, and he was having trouble breaking 80 before because we weren't to that point yet. And he didn't understand it. He's a teenager. We weren't to the point yet that we could move into taking what we're doing on the range and applying to the golf course, because he's got to be stable in his mind and comfortable where his swing is at in order to let all that shit go when we move on to the golf course and put the ball in the hole.
So,
It's a long process.
so Sebastian, he's a kid, lots of juniors. I could apply it also to any junior coming up in any sport. What do you what do you want to do? I want to play in the NHL. I want to play Major League Baseball. I want to do
Hamper
this.
those expectations.
Right. You got to nurture those, right?
Yep.
Here's my question to you, both of you as great instructors. When that student comes to you, how and this is for the students out there. This is for the guys that want to go out and take a good get a golf lesson. When does the responsibility come back also to the student
Every
of
week.
explaining what my objective is? I am currently a 15 handicap. My short game sucks. I think that's what's causing me to not be a 15. Probably has no idea what really is causing them. When does the instructor ask the question, what is your objective coming to me today? Like the doctor, when I go in and, my blood pressure is up and they're like, why are you here? I don't know. I'm lightheaded. I mean, there is accountability and responsibility on both from the onset in the
Has
process,
to be.
right?
The student has to be part of the process. You can't just come to a lesson once a week and be spoon fed what you're supposed to do if you're not doing anything in between. And there has to be communication back and forth. That's why, another reason why I scaled down, because I need to hear from these kids throughout the week. And I know I work with kids, but this is a perfect recipe for Andy. Is a what are you, like a one, or no? You're a scratch, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the process doesn't change if you're a +5 or a 35. It's the same. It's at different levels, but the process doesn't change. And Alan, there's, like you said, responsibilities on both ends. That's why it drives me crazy when I lose a student, because the the idea that I wasn't moving fast enough or I wasn't doing my job is never the case in those situations. It's they're not doing what they're responsible for as the student.
Well, as I said, there will be no names, but a conversation with a very qualified golf instructor. And that golf instructor was sitting there, came in from a lesson, and I said, "What's up?" And the response was, "I just wish the student would go home and practice one thing that I actually gave them to do."
My question is though, did you actually give them a plan, a specific plan? Because
Well, I don't think
because it's easy for a golf coach to say, hey, I want you to work on this between now and the next time. That's a step, but it's not the same, right? And I think and you guys just hit the nail on the head. You have to have the willing student, right? And I would bet that there's more students that are not willing than there are that are willing. So that's a big part of this equation too.
Andy, you've said it. I'm going to paraphrase. You said you're one swing away from being there and one swing away from not being there.
Yeah, and
Everybody,
I'm tired of that situation. That's why I'm seeking a process to get myself into a better situation where I'm not on the brink of disaster all the time. That's why I'm doing this, spending my money and basically
But you're an accomplished golfer. Let's go back to my 15 handicap.
it's all relative though.
What's that?
All relative.
Okay, that 15 handicap comes out, beats it around Saturday, may play on Sunday also on a good day, may slip out one hit a bucket of balls or play 9 on the weekday. Highly unlikely. And their expectation is to be a 7 or an 8. Realistic expectation, of course, anybody can improve, right? With enough practice. What's the practice? What's the process? To your point, what's the process? What are they?
This is what it's gonna take.
Right?
Yeah.
well, and that starts with goal setting. You have to set intermediate goals to get to bigger goals, and they could be a month, they could be a week. You don't know that. You don't know how it's going to play out in the time frame, but you have to set the goals using that SMART goals acronym and be very specific and measurable and all that. And I just don't think there's enough people because golf's freaking hard. I just don't think enough people want to put in what it would take to get to what they want in their mind.
Hey, Brendan,
Bobby, I was just going to say we are so far ahead here of learning at Quiet Please that we're already doing the New Year's Day goal setting program or show at Thanksgiving.
but I mean, Brendan probably sees this too, that there's people that are 2 handicappers swinging on the range on a flat lie with a great lie and a 12 handicap on the golf course. And when people come into me all the time for 40 years, I need a golf lesson. What does that mean? Start talking to them. Oh, I'm shooting whatever. And they think it's the full swing. How much time do you play? How much time do you devote to your short game? Well, not a lot. I mean, I have people that I've watched and I said, there's nothing I can say on this driving range after a few swings. You're swinging basically terrific. Let's go on the golf course. That 7-iron from 150 on the first hole, you have a hanging lie. There's a creek in front. There's a little breeze in your face. You think you need to hit 7-iron. You might need to hit a cut 5-iron. How do you play the game? How do you score? It's so completely different. And I've seen some stuff on Facebook. There was 1 or 2 people recently that said, oh, that on the course, I don't know, I forget the phrase,
I saw that too.
Yeah,
it's a waste of time.
Yeah, I disagree so bad on that. I can do more help for somebody to score and play the game and learn how to play it and throw in some pace of play and some etiquette. Forget about rules. Don't play by the rules. I don't really care. Just the etiquette, fix divots and all that stuff. And you use the right club. You don't realize when you're going up to a elevated green. Take a look at some elevated greens. You will find that ball marks are on the first third. There's nothing in the back 2/3. Nobody uses enough club. Nobody understands wind. Nobody understands anything about that stuff playing. I think it's a lost opportunity.
Yeah, you know why, Bob? Because I think I saw that same post, and I think it's a greater part of the epidemic of golf coaching where there's the coaching side and there's the analytical side of of golf instruction, right? And people who do this for a living in general are enamored with the analytical side about, you know, parsing through the data and,
Yep.
you know,
TrackMan video.
inside the perfect, you know, lab, what happens with the golf swing. And so I personally think that is, you know, that's good for them. Like if you want to be a doctor that does research, you do that research on the side. That's another thing of what you do so that you can provide information to your community or you can provide information to yourself, right? But that doesn't change the fact that you have a practice, that you have patients, that you need to take care of your patients and teach them, in this case of golf, all those things that you're talking about.
That's
Instead
why
of,
those awards to me are, I don't want to say meaningless, but I don't care what D plane is because most of my students have no idea what that is.
and
So why do,
it's good for you to know, right? If you
right?
look at it and you want to know, you're not going to use that.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
That gets to the Tommy Armour quote. There's two Tommy Armour Silver Scott quotes I've used my whole life. And I love telling this to kids, especially because it's an educational thing. And two things Tommy Armour said was, you need to teach somebody a quarter of what you think they can handle, because that's usually half too much.
Right.
The other is, right, so perfect. The other one is really good, but Andy, what you just said, it's a golf instructor needs to know the golf swing in total complexity to then teach it in utter simplicity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. I'm just glad you didn't throw any Tommy Armour the third quotes out there.
That's for the nighttime show.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's on the hot seat tonight?
What I'm gonna put Andy on the hot seat, but it's a special kind of hot seat. In a second. So, well, I don't even remember which one. I think it was Bobby. One of you guys said, I look at my game. Okay, I always was known as Captain Scrape. I literally have been won college tournaments by hitting, well, a match, we'll say. I hit 2 greens in regulation. The guy I was playing hit 17. We tied.
Because you know how to play.
I did know how to play, and
He doesn't know how to play. He just knows how to punt.
I am guilty of falling into the trap, as I think most people do. I got to go down and hit a bucket of balls. I got to go down and hit a bucket of balls. And they would get 1,000% more use. That 15 to become a 7. Go chip. Go putt.
Chip and putt and play.
Chip,
Well,
putt, play.
You going to hit more putts ain't going to do anything for you. Okay.
I did not, Andy, I did not go there for positive strokes, but I would take them from you. Thank you so much.
You cannot improve on that shit.
All right, Andy, a modified top 10. Give me your top 10 complaints. I'm not going to ask the other two guys. I had to ask you because they're in the profession. Top 10 complaints about golf instructors.
Ooh.
Wait a minute. You want me to come up with 10 things?
All right, give
I
me 5.
can.
Give me 5.
3.
I think number one is that people don't give you plans and notes and drills. I think that's number one. I think number two, people tend to be way too enamored with the golf swing itself. Not my golf swing, but the golf swing, meaning that we'll make this number 3, that everybody compares people to Tiger Woods instead of comparing it to, you know, me or you or any other regular guy. I think those are 3 major complaints, and we'll leave it at that. I think 3 is enough.
18th green, Mr.
No. Bobby's on the hot seat tonight.
Oh, okay. All right.
We don't have enough time. Can we do a next one?
Yeah, no, we extended it. Go ahead.
We'll make
Yeah.
this fast, Robert.
Oh, geez.
All right, what's your lowest 18-hole score?
66.
What are your 3 favorite golf courses that you played?
Hillview Country Club, North Reading, Mass, where I grew up. Kenilworth Lodge, no longer there, in Sebring, Florida. Both of those where my dad was head pro. And Muirfield in Scotland.
Very nice. I think Muirfield and Hillview are kind of on a different set.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I played that course with my dad, and it was
Yes.
very emotional.
What 3 courses have you not played that you'd like to play?
I think the usual is Augusta, although I've driven around it a few times with Drive, Chip, and Putt. I haven't played it. That's a good question. I don't really have an answer. Like I think every golf course is really wonderful. I'm weird like that. I think every golf course has unique characteristics. I'm not trying to sidestep the answer whatsoever. I just think I love the game of golf. I love golf courses. Every course is special. I really do. Like every single golf course, you could be some muni that's hard scrabble and it might be the best shot ever.
We'll let that be your answer. That's fair.
You know, they all speak to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name the 3 best golfers of all time.
Gotta go with Jack. I'm going Jack, Mickey Wright, and Tiger.
Nice call there. What's the best part of your game?
Has always been driving it and short game.
Okay, what skill is most important to play good golf?
I love Jane Blay. I've always had the same thought. Jane Blaylock said this: touch.
Yep. Okay, who's your favorite golfer, past or present?
My dad.
Knew that was coming. Great answer. Quickly describe the best shot you've ever hit. Time, place, and situation.
I actually, I probably have 2 of them. I think I was playing. I should know the golf course. It's weird. It was either, I think it was Cohasset. I don't know. It might have been Hatherley back in Massachusetts. It was qualifying for the Mass Open, and I was in a playoff, and I had this 95-yard bunker shot, quirky 95, 90 something yards. And I hit the shot into the sun that was setting, and it landed a foot away. I've never forgot that shot. Every time I have a long bunker shot to this day, and that was probably 1989, I always think about it. And the other cool shot I actually have on video, I made a double eagle on the par 5 at River Run Golf Club, doing the Bobby Vermillion show. And it's pretty cool. It was a driver 4-iron from 230 yards.
Wow, we gotta see that.
Was it filmed?
It was filmed. I have it on tape. Yeah.
That's awesome.
See that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so tell me what you cherish the most about this great game of golf.
Well, the relationships and the memories. You know, nobody, I don't know. It's all about relationships.
Yep. Okay, 19th hole question. How many aces do you have?
Including today, 0.
I'm not alone. Yes.
So
I've
I literally on Sunday, I mean, is as close as I've ever come to making one without it going in. It ended up 1 ball length right behind the hole, kind of on the right side. So I know it just crawled over the right edge.
I've flown it in.
Ball mark was 6 inches in front.
I've lifted out. I've hit the stick multiple times. I've actually hit it into the hole where it hit the metal and bounced out.
Yep.
I've done everything. Before my dying day, I hope to make one.
Well, maybe you're just not a good enough person, Bob.
Maybe I'm like Ben Hogan and I just don't aim at the hole.
That's right.
You survived the Quiet Please hot seat. Well done. Well played.
Well done.
19th hole, Brendan. Bring it home.
18th hole?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Okay, 18th hole.
You know, I was thinking
Bobby,
for
pour
my
me a drink.
final thought, I was thinking back to what we were talking about earlier about entertainment and the skins game and stuff. I just watched the last 2 days. I watch a lot of YouTube with a lot of these golf influencers, and it was Bryson and Garrett from Good Good playing a two-person scramble. They did 9 they posted yesterday and 9 they posted today, and they were trying to break 50 from the red tees, and they shot 50. And I was just every second of that, I was into that whole video. So I think there's something to be said about some of these guys that are doing these YouTube channels, because that was a good watch, definitely.
That's awesome.
Mr. Hydorn.
So I'll have two quick ones. And on that note, Brendan, I had one until you just said that, but what I would love to see is 4 tour players, Jordan, Justin, Ricky, Rory, whoever, tee it up in a scramble on a regular golf course, from 6,800 yards.
Yep.
And see what they shoot. No mulligans, no, if you wink at the girl at the table, you get to write down a hole in one or anything like that. But just literally see what they would score.
Only for $250.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think that would be super interesting, especially in the climate of crazy scramble scores that are being posted
They would shoot 46.
anymore. Yeah. I bet they wouldn't shoot anywhere near 46, to be honest with you.
Well, you know where you comes, another podcast, but Barstool foreplay. Kiz played with didn't he play? No, they don't play a scramble, do they? They play best ball, don't they?
Yeah.
For the
St. Jude.
well, no, he played out in Pittsburgh. He played in the qualifier for their tournament. He was the partner in that.
Yeah.
That one's out there on YouTube. But
But
yes.
I do think that'd be super interesting to see what 4 tour players could ultimately shoot in a scramble, because I think
that'd be a great money raise for charity, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
so. Okay,
Patrick Cantley would not play.
Yeah, exactly.
And as of today, Goldman Sachs is not going to sponsor him either. So
my final point is, I forgot to do this last week. So prior to Lexi Thompson teeing it up in the men's event, I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out what she was doing. She's had a miserable year playing golf. She's just been totally off her game. But damn, did she show up and show up well. She played great. She was inside the cut line, I think, at one point in the second round. So
Yeah.
good for her, because I was not thinking it was going to go anywhere near that good for her.
BB.
Well, we learned this week that Mr. Paul Azinger is out of a job on NBC. So I read some articles on who might be his replacement, and I actually agreed with one of them. And I know it sounds really bizarre, but what if Lee Trevino was the analyst? I thought, now that's thinking outside the box, although there was some sentiment for like a Jeff Ogilvy major champion winner, like real keen insights, things in that they could go that way. But then I got to thinking, not saying Andy Rooney from the old 60 Minutes, but to have somebody like I don't know, like a Lee Trevino or somebody of that era that might get a minute on air. I think it would be kind of a cool thing on the broadcast that would bring the newer golfers. Here we go, talking about new people to the game, appreciating some of the history of the game, because history is wonderful. So we'll see what happens with the replacement there.
He's done it before. He used to work for NBC TV, and the only reason I know that, every time I think about Lee Trevino on TV, he used to say, "He's in the bunker." That was Lee Trevino. I think that ball rolled into the bunker.
I think you would have seen. Think you would have seen Phil in there sometimes if he had not gone off the rails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
No, he would have been perfect.
Commit character suicide.
I am going to conclude with the spirit of the week by saying things I'm thankful for as my final thought. 3 of them are right on the screen. My amigos, I am extremely thankful for you. I'm
Kudos.
thankful for our little cadet Small, who will be back joining us next week after he gets down. Now he's a basketball coach now, also apparently, but it's for his church, so that's good. I'm thankful for 2 sons, a daughter-in-law, a beautiful bride, a bonus son, and as of this weekend, gender reveal, a grandson to be.
That's right. Congratulations.
So
That's awesome.
things I'm thankful for on this turkey day. That's it. That's all I got.